Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. Welcome back to Musically Sound, a music review show. As always, I'm your host, the Mastodon. This is episode 4, and today, Appetite for Destruction from Guns N' Roses. This is my number 4 favorite album. Specific reasons being, I had older siblings, and they listened to that music of the 80s, particularly bands such as Guns N' Roses, Poison, Motley Crue, and so forth, Def Leppard. This also brings me back to the days of MTV when they actually played music videos, I should say. Before I go on with this album, I'll give you a little background on Guns N' Roses. They were formed in Los Angeles in early '85 by Axl Rose, Izzy Stradlin, and the moonlighting LA Guns member Tracy Guns, and that's where the name Guns N' Roses comes from. It's Tracy Guns and Axl Rose. Tracy would go back to LA Guns, and members Slash, Duff, and Steven Adler would join to solidify the band, and they would go on to record this album. We all kind of know this album by now. I mean, 1987. It's going to celebrate 33 years this year. Tracks like "Welcome to the Jungle," "Paradise City," "Sweet Child of Mine," we all know them by now. But there's deeper cuts. Now, Mr. Brownstone, to a lesser extent of the other the latter three we would know. But there's just so many deep cuts on this album that there's not one bad song on this album. It's So Easy, Nightrain, one of my favorites. They're Out to Get Me, My Michelle. I mean, talk about... I always likened it to the Beatles' My Michelle, or Michelle was the song. Kind of their modern day take on it. Think About You, I Think About You. Great song. I mean, just everything. You're crazy. You're fucking crazy. That's right. Anything Goes and Rocket Queen. Just the the history behind that song in itself, and the story that was presented in Rolling Stones for, I believe it's the 25th anniversary. It just made a statement to the hilarity, not just the hilarity, but the wildness of this band and the ridiculousness of Axl Rose. There's not enough that I can say about this album, and I know a lot of people it doesn't do a thing for, but it just, with those other 3 to 4 songs aside, all those deep cuts, you could take those other ones off, and this would still be a great album. And I think if those that this album doesn't do anything for, they're concentrating too much on those popular hits, they should listen to the album without those 4 songs on it. And it may change their minds slightly. Who knows? I could be wrong. But I just think it's a great album. If you've never heard it, you've been living under a rock. And you should check it out. keep an open mind. Listen to it with an open mind. Forget about all the BS that is associated with it. Yes, they have rode the tidal wave of this album. Use Your Illusion was good, but there's no way it could ever match this album, the success of this first album. That's all I have for today on this episode of Musically Sound. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that stuff. If you didn't like, let me know in the comments below, please. And if you did, that's great. Tell me what you did like. That's it for this episode. Everyone have a great day. Get out there and listen to some music.